and tad less so.
Yes. I'm telling you, they're really stupid.
Who's the Willard of Oz?
Willard of Oz is just this like really schlebby kind of dopey sort of guy, and he's not the Wiz. He's Willard of Oz. But I thought that the it was Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
That Tad Lasso was kind of, it was like, well, Brain, this is not a terribly funny cartoon, but it's interesting, that's the dreaming brain likes puns, it likes wordplay, and that has been written about.
I know this book is not about the science of dreaming or the science of sleep, but you have obviously spent a lot of time thinking about it. And just based on your kind of anecdotal research, what is your guess as to like what our brains are trying to do when we dream?
I think, at the end of the book, I do have a pie chart. And because cartoonists need to make pie charts, we just do. I think it's a combination of a lot of things. I mean, if I had to, of course, Freud and Jung being the two biggies from the 20th century, I sort of fall more in the Jungian side of things. I kind of like that idea that dreams connect to the collective unconscious, and that they tap into some part of our brains where we are all connected.
And Fran Lebowitz is there.
And everybody is there. That's the whole thing.
Well, thanks for being here. The book is I Must Be Dreaming. Roz Chast, everybody, right here on Live.
Thank you.
That was Roz Chast right here on Livewire. Her latest book, I Must Be Dreaming, is available right now. I'm Luke Burbank here with Elena Passarello. We have got to take a very quick break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we are going to hear some music from the incredible Black Belt Eagle Scout. Stay with us.
KUOW 94.9, Seattle's NPR news station. Good afternoon, I'm Katie Sewell. Thanks for joining us. The sea stars of San Juans are coming back from near extinction. A mysterious wasting disease killed an estimated 5 billion sea stars, or 90% of their global population, over the past decade. So find out how researchers at the University of Washington live. That story is at KUOW.org.
On the New Yorker Radio Hour, why Republicans won't brag about overturning abortion rights.
Donald Trump has basically said, I would like to take credit for getting rid of Roe versus Wade, but also not pay a political price for it.
The GOP, abortion, and the new battle over IVF.
Make that mix.
Savor every sip of your favorite medium drinks, like iced coffee or frozen.
Environment is that has never been more true. There are so many people out there sitting in S&P 500 ETF because we've deemed the S&P 500 to be this benevolent, profits maker that's just going to throw you out, 11 to 15% every single year. And so people inherently think it's diversified and it's safe. They don't realize that they own a tech fund. Now, is that bad? No. Just got to do it in the right size. Should 40% of your entire retirement be focused in one sector, and that sector being the most expensive in the market? Of course not. But so many people are. Why? Because it's worked. When will they stop or they lose? Right? Which is the opposite of risk management. So you got to know what you own. Anyway, all right, we're going to take a quick break, guys. If all this resonates to you, if you're sitting out there looking at the world going, you know what, I know this tech stuff has gone crazy. You're looking at your portfolios and going, but I've done really good owning the triple Qs and the S&P 500. But you're sitting there going like, this feels nuts. It feels like it's gotten out of control and we need a safer path, or am I doing the right? All these questions, right? If you're concerned about valuations, Matt, look, give us a call. 866-779-RISK, 866-779-RISK. And don't just give us a call because you're afraid. I don't ever want to be, the world's coming apart. You got to call us or everybody else is going to lose you. That's not the case, but it's for both reasons. I think a lot of people own a lot of things that are going to hurt them. It's only a matter of time. But the flip side of that is I think there's a bunch of things that people under own that are going to really benefit them. Like, for instance, look at your own portfolio. Now, wouldn't light your world on fire, but could you have used a 5 to 7% allocation to gold or gold miner stocks this year? Pretty hard to argue you can't. Right? You need some diversification. And especially when we see these other things that are already doing well, that are kind of doing it quietly because they're in the shadow of tech, AI. Everybody's so crazy about it. Meanwhile, I'm looking at a bunch of different things all over the place where I think you got generational buying opportunities. And you don't even have to wait for it because the thesis is already playing out in front of your face. If that sounds compelling to you, and it's stuff that I know, now I'm not saying we're going to do it this right way, but it's stuff that I know where I have never felt more confident in my life. If you had a properly diversified portfolio that was focused on value and fundamentals right now, I would bet a large amount of my own personal money, if not all of it, that it will perform some of these popular stocks, some of these popular sectors, even these indexes over the long run. And like I said, could it do it over the short run? Yep, because the long run could be right around the corner. And if that interests you, if you have those fears, if you're sitting there going, look, I don't want to just chase what's popular. I'm hearing what Zach's saying. I want to take advantage of some of these buying opportunities. I want to take some of my wins off the table. I want to memorialize some of these wins because I realize they're probably not always going to be there. I'm looking at the world today thinking, I need to manage risk better. Some of these things, if that's you, and if you're not short-term myopically focused on, I got to keep up. Now, hopefully we outperform, right? And we have plenty of periods of times where we do. But if that's you, give us a call, 866-779-RISK and 866-779-RISK. And we're just going to have a conversation. We're just going to look at what you own, and we're going to compare it to what we own, how it's done, what our costs are, and tell you what we can do for you, and leave you with it. If you decide to do it, you give us a call and say, hey, I want to become a client, let's move forward. If not, best of luck. Hopefully you leave more informed, but it doesn't cost you anything. At the very least, how many people out there are like, he's right. At the very least, I could use a second opinion. At the very least, I can make sure that I'm not compromising the gains I've made over the biggest bull market of all time, or just, hey, I want to be taken care of. I see what he's saying. I think it's impossible to argue that tech isn't overwhelmed, that people overown it. I want to know what the next sector is that's going to be really big. I want to make sure I'm diversified into these things that have gotten so cheap. Right? It's not just about protecting from loss. It's also seizing opportunity. And unless you believe none of that applies anymore, if you believe that Warren Buffett doesn't know what he's talking about anymore, right? That the price you pay is the most important factor in investing. If you believe that, we're probably not your guy. But if you do, and you should, because it's irrefutable, give us a call, 866-779-RISK and 866-779-RISK. Go to the radio show website, knowyourriskradio.com, bulwarkcapitalmanagement.com. You guys know the drill. Ate up a lot of time there. Be back for a quick segment here to wrap things up. So stick with us through the break. We'll be right back. You're listening to Know Your Risk Radio podcast. Download and subscribe at knowyourriskradio.com.
This is Know Your Risk Radio with Zach Abraham. Listen to Zach uncover the truth about the financial markets with simple and honest advice to help you plan for retirement. Get your free copy of Zach's new booklet, Common Sense Investing. Go to knowyourriskradio.com.
How many times in recent memory has your financial advisor not reacted to current events and also not made a change in your investment portfolio? Now, think about all the volatile events during that time that have threatened your retirement.
That's Zach Abraham, Chief Investment Officer at Bulwark Capital and host of the Know Your Risk Radio podcast.
We talk about it all the time. Risk management. It's our number one focus. Looking for opportunities to lower risk, lower cost, and give you as much upside as possible. Let us show you how Bulwark's risk management strategy can protect that retirement you've worked so hard.
Exactly why you need Zach and Bulwark Capital in your. Learn how Bulwark does it with their free Common Sense Investing guide. Call 866-779-RISK or simply go to knowyourriskradio.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Trek Financial LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Investments involve risk and are not guaranteed. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Trek 24244. You're listening to Know Your Risk Radio with Zach Abraham, Chief Investment Officer at Bulwark Capital Management.
And we are back. You know, overstated the amount of time I had. Gotta wrap things up here, but I'm going to do that little segment that I was talking about, and I want to focus on two things: that housing data, the employment data, and then also the comments on the war of inflation is over. So I'm going to do a little extra innings here with Chase. It'll be like an extra daily dots. Lord knows that we've missed enough over the last, week and a half. So we're kind of backfilling that hole there. But we're gonna do that to cover these things because I think it is really important. Again, to kind of misspell a lot of the bad information out there and just inaccurate reporting, right? It's not me calling those people out or saying they're lying. And I get it. Inflation's a little more complex, but we've been fighting for long enough. We've been dealing with inflation for long enough that I just feel like the misreporting of it or the misrepresentation of inflation is either disingenuous or it just the person just doesn't know their proverbial from a hole in the ground, if you get what I'm saying, or they're just an idiot. I don't mean to be mean, but for crying out loud, I mean, it's not like it just came on it's not like inflation just showed up a week ago. So anyway, if everything that we've talked about here is raised a concern, or sitting there, I need to know what I own. I don't know what I own, like Zach's saying. Am I too overloaded in tech? Guys, just give us a call. It's not a complex sales process. We're not going to loop you in and call you on the weekends. It's going to be a quick, friendly conversation. Look at what you've got compared to what we've got. Walk you through it and explain the differences. See if we can help. If we can, great. You become a client and a partner. If not, you leave more educated. Doesn't cost you anything. We're not going to bug you. I'm not going to call you on the weekends, I promise. Anyway, so give us a call, 866-779-RISK. Go to the radio show website, knowyourriskradio.com or capitalmanagement.com, and have a wonderful weekend. Man, football season is upon us. Got our team scheduled for my fourth grade team that I coach. I'm pumped. We're looking good. Anyway, we'll see you next week. You're listening to Know Your Risk Radio podcast. Download and subscribe at knowyourriskradio.com.
Thanks for listening to Know Your Risk Radio with Zach Abraham, Chief Investment Officer at Bulwark Capital. Whether it's president growth strategy, every investor needs a clearly defined risk. Your free risk review with Zach Abraham now at knowyourriskradio.com. Zach will be back with more Know Your Risk Radio next Saturday at noon on 97.3 Cairo FM and AM 770 KTTH.
Investment advice cannot be given without a client service agreement. Bulwark Capital Management is an investment advisor representative of Trek Financial LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
How many times in recent memory has your financial advisor not reacted to current events and also not made a change in your investment portfolio? Now, think about all the volatile events during that time that have threatened your retirement.
That's Zach Abraham, Chief Investment Officer of Bulwark Capital and host of the Know Your Risk Radio podcast.
We talk about it all the time. Risk management. It's our number one focus. Looking for opportunities to lower risk, lower cost, and give you as much upside as possible. Let us show you how Bulwark's risk management strategy can protect that retirement you've worked so hard for.
This is exactly why you need Zach and Bulwark Capital in your corner. You only get one retirement. Learn how Bulwark does it with their free common sense investing guide called 866-779-RISK or simply go to knowyourriskradio.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Trek Financial LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Investments involve risk and are not guaranteed. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Trek 24244.
Carter Subaru, your drive begins with saving.
Your best source for local news, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Allison Keys. The Windy City is buzzing as tens of thousands race to attend next week's Democratic National Convention. Chicago has hosted more political conventions than any other American city, and its nickname comes not just from actual wins, but from its famously talkative politicians. CBS's Tom Hansen looks ahead to what this gathering could mean. When you're a vice president and you're in the shadow of the president, it's important that you step out of that shadow and really define yourself as a leader.
Ashley Etienne would know. She worked as VP Harris's communications director. One obvious difference between then and now, the candidate at the top of the ticket is a woman.
And a woman of color. Not just a woman of color. And I think that matters. The reason why it matters is because it speaks to the progress that we're making as a nation. The Republican presidential nominee, Donald
short time or for a long time, but also that they are going to have to negotiate the commissions up front. And they'll also be able to outline specifically how the commissions are paid to both agents.
The U.S. is remaining cautiously optimistic of reaching a Gaza ceasefire deal. Mediators reconvene in Cairo next week after making progress. State Secretary Antony Blinken also traveling to Israel for talks this weekend. And Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says his troops have strengthened positions in Russia's Kursk region nearly 2 weeks into the incursion. A top Ukrainian official says that incursion meant to persuade Moscow to engage in peace talks. You're listening to ABC News.
Give the star in your life the brightest gift in the world. Name a star after them. This is Rocky Moselle with International Star Registry. For $59, you can call to 800-282-3333 or visit starregistry.com. You can name a star for birthdays, weddings, or even memorials. Over 45 years, we have named millions of stars for celebrities and individuals from around the world. The star in your name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Visit starregistry.com or call 800-282-3333.
$100 in all states are prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit,
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Former New York GOP Congressman George Santos is expected to plead guilty at a hearing next week. Santos faces 23 felony charges, including defrauding donors. Hurricane Ernesto still impacting Bermuda after making landfall earlier today. ABC's Morgan Norwood is in Hamilton.
The flash flooding is the major risk, but also the wind gusts. We're still feeling strong gusts from time to time, and that has knocked out power to more than 26,000 customers.
Dangerous riptides are the concern along the U.S. eastern seaboard. Cyber experts sounding the alarm about the safety of personnel data following a massive breach. According to a federal class action lawsuit, the hacking group claiming to have stolen and released personal information of nearly 3 billion people. Cybersecurity expert Michael Kaiser, what you can do to protect your data.
You should be using strong authentication on your own account, so making sure that, wherever possible, you're not just using a password to access your accounts, because that makes you vulnerable. And trying to get into account, if you have something on multi-factor authentication using something like a security key or these new pass keys that are quite available now, you can really protect accounts from being hacked.
Nearly 100 people are dead in Sudan, authorities say, after fighters from Sudan's paramilitary group RSF went on a rampage through a central village. Reports of looting, burning, and assaulting women and girls. It's the latest attack in the country's 18-month conflict. Michelle Franson, ABC News.
Northwest traffic from the High Performance Homes Traffic Center.
We got a crash near Canyon Park on southbound 527, blocking the right lane at 196th Street. And just east of there, reports of a crash on eastbound 522, jamming up traffic at Paradise Lake Road. In Federal Way, a crash is partially blocking the southbound I-5 exit to the 20th, and westbound 18 is jammed up at the southbound I-5 exit as well. In downtown, northbound I-5 is stop and go from I-90 to 520, and just north of downtown, both directions of I-5 are jammed up in the U District. Drive time from Everett to Seattle right now, 35 minutes each way. And now weather, sponsored by Northwest Crawl Space Services. Showers and thunderstorms tonight with low temperatures at 62 degrees, and that'll continue through tomorrow morning, then clearing up later with highs near 74. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy with lows at 58. Our next Northwest traffic at 114.
The following program was paid for by Hello Wealth and does not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of News Radio management or staff.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Hello, friends. Welcome to another exciting hour of talking real money. Actually, about 38 minutes.
37 and a half now.
We take out the commercials and make it a podcast. I'm Don McDonald, sitting in the studio with Tom Cock, the co-host of the program. We are in the same physical location at the same time in beautiful Bellevue, Washington.
Hope for no missile strike.
There's supposed to be one?
Well, no, because that would be the end of the show.
No weather forecast or anything.
Listen more
cloudy
carefully.
with a chance of missiles.
Thunderstorm.
We're gonna get some missile breaks later in the day.
Duck.
Yeah, and cover. Did you do that when you were in school?
No, I never. I think I missed that. So
what were you going to some weird school? I mean, we did the duck and cover drills.
I think it was done by the time I got there.
Well, maybe because I'm older than you. All right, welcome to the program. We're going to talk about money with you. We hope you will talk about money with us because you can do that by calling us at 855-935-8255. 855-935-TALK. Talk. Spells talk again. We like the number 8255, spells talk. And we do try to talk about a lot of different financial topics. We end up mostly on investments because that's the area where there's the most confusion. But there's another important part of what we do, and that is to try to keep you from being ripped off. There's a lot of fraud out there, and it will always be there. If you think it's new, scams have been around since money. Yeah, it's before money. There were trading scams. They were, like the guy who traded the cow for the kid who traded the cow for the magic beans. Come on. You don't think that was a fraudulent transaction?
Worked out well for one party, not so much.
Yeah, but anyway, the guy thought he was taking advantage of the kid. Now we've got people stealing identity or stealing your credentials. It used to be that our social security number was sacred and sacrosanct. Well, disabuse yourself of that notion, because if you think nobody knows your social security number, you're dead wrong. Anybody who wants your social security number now, trust me, they can pretty much get it, particularly after the latest fraud, in which a company called National Public Data, you probably never heard of them, but they do background checks, and so they have information on pretty much all of us.
And they got breached to the tune of 2.9 billion
records.
It's crazy.
Billion personal data for sale now on.
I don't know how to get to it.
I don't know where it is. I'm sure it's somewhere out there.
So what you're saying is, no matter who you are, no matter what
your identity has already been stolen by someone. If they've stolen your identity, so get over trying to protect it. It ain't gonna work.
You gonna give out
all
your number
you can do now? You know what? What good would it do somebody? Because I did what you probably should do.
The freeze.
You're real. It's a pain. I gotta tell you, it is a bit of a pain. But the number one thing you can do is to protect your money, is to freeze your credit.
And how do you do that?
The reason people steal your social security number and identifying information is so that they can open credit in your name.
And then take the money.
And then charge the cards and then vanish very quickly. It can be done like that. So what you're going to need to do, and this is a really stupid system, by the way, and the United States government should probably try to change this eventually, where we have multiple credit reporting agencies. There should be one clearinghouse where you can control all of this.
And you can do it.
That is highly regulated, because I had to go to TransUnion, to Equifax, and Experian.
All three.
And freeze my credit. It's easy to do. You can do it on their website, and it's free. Don't let them sell you their subscription for $30 a month to monitor your credit.
And
which, by the way, is a huge ripoff.
Is it harder to do it in the summer when it's so warm in Florida? Question.
We have air conditioning.
Oh, so freeze is not.
Yeah, we can still freeze. It's not as big a temperature.
All right, all kidding aside, freeze your credit.
Freezing your credit, but there's a downside to freezing your credit. I discovered it recently.
Yes.
And I'll share it with you after the break. There was a
what a tease.
There was a downside, but still, with my social running around out there, all scams that people have tried to perpetrate on me over the years, I think it was worth it. We'll be right back. 855-935-TALK. Call.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
In medicine, a second opinion might save your life. With investing, a second opinion might save you a future. The trick is getting one without a high-pressure sales pitch. Well, I'm Don McDonald, and if you've been listening to Talking Real Money, you know that our goal is to help everyone create a brighter future by investing and managing money better. That's why In addition to helping everyone on our show and podcast, we are also committed to making our 100% fiduciary advisors at Appella available to help everyone make the best financial decisions based on science. So if you're being pitched a financial product or system, make sure you get a second opinion with no cost, no obligation, and no annoying sales pitch by going to talkingrealmoney.com or call 800-386-3004. That's 800-386-3004 or talkingrealmoney.com.
When you know what's right, but see what's wrong. Do you feel like they're hearing you? You stand up and voice your concerns.
They have assaulted us.
Project Seattle on Como News takes your frustrations straight to elected leaders.
We've called out publicly about tiny homes,
holding them accountable on the drug and homeless crisis and the safety of our cities.
I see people breaking in, stealing cars.
Consistent reporting that won't back down.
I feel the heat, and I sign up for the heat.
Accountability on issues that matter.
These encampments, there's no excuse.
Project Seattle, only on Como News.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Take care of your car, and it will take care of you. That's why Tom Turner always recommends cleaning your fuel system with Dr. Injector FSM.
Injector Tiger.
Good stuff.
Oh my goodness. Man, you know that new Kia just turned 170,000 miles on it. Put that stuff in it, and I'm telling you, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, FSM is reasonably priced. It's as good as there is. I wouldn't tell you it was good if it wasn't. Dr. Injector FSM. Available at your local Dr. Injector store, Amazon, or eBay. DocInjector.com.
Northwest traffic from the High Performance Homes Traffic Center.
Well, there's heavy traffic in Federal Way. Westbound 18 is jammed up at the exit to southbound I-5, backing up almost all the way down the hill to 167. Moving up to Renton, northbound 405 is jammed up from 167 to Maple Valley Highway. And then up in Mobile, a crash on eastbound 522, backing up traffic from Paradise Lake Road. In downtown, northbound I-5 is stopping go from I-90 to the U District. And up in Everett, northbound I-5 is running slowly on 21st Street to Marysville. Drive time from Seattle to Everett right now in 36 minutes. And now weather, sponsored by Northwest Crawl Space Services. Showers and thunderstorms tonight with low temperatures around 62 degrees. That'll continue through tomorrow morning, then clearing up later with highs near 74. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, lows at 58. Our next traffic at 124.
Your guide to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
As we were talking about, can you protect yourself? Your identity is stolen. But there is an answer to that. Which is, if you try to keep it up, they're going to turn you down. If they're going to turn you down, they're going to turn you down because they can't get in. And the reason.
At Little Caesars, we say, seize today's deals. $18 purchase, free tax and other fees. Cannot be combined with any other products. To one use per person per day. Plus tax worth it.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Firmer, whenever I want.
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery on select smart beds when you add any base. To learn more, visit one of our 30.
With Geico and have a wonderful time with your family. That's just a good memory.
Get more with Geico. For an RV quote, call Geico at 800-841-2918.
Looking for fine jewelry this fall? Good news! Seattle's favorite jeweler for more than 40 years now has 2 locations near you. Come visit us in our beautiful new store. Biggest selection at South Summer Square. Develop. Create your own engagement ring with the lightest range of diamonds and gemstones and discover unique fine jewelry design by our in-house team. No matter your budget, our friendly team is here to help guide you in finding the perfect piece that speaks to you. Visit ShaneCo.com to find your closest store and hours. We can't wait to see you. Shane Company, your friend with jewelry.
Attention all moms with college-bound kids. When they're doing their laundry, noticing skids, and then they leave. How certain are you that their beeholes are clean and not full of food? Have you made your best effort to fulfill your duty of sending them off with a grade A clean booty? Send them with 2 wives and they'll surely advance to the top of the Dean's list for clean underpants. No stank in their tank and their undies no brown. Because wet things clean better than dry things pants down. Dude wipes, best clean, pants down.
Caesar Sportsbook at Mothoshoot is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, bet, win. All your favorite sports: football, hockey, basketball, soccer, MMA, baseball, boxing. Live betting from our kiosks and our windows. Caesar Sportsbook at Mothoshoot. Let the bets begin.
At QFC, we shorten the time from harvest to home, so you can get more days of freshness with your favorites, like crisp and crunchy broccoli, delicious bananas, creamy avocados, and more. We also perform inspections to make sure our produce meets your fresh standards, no matter how you shop. QFC, love fresh, love local, love food.
Save on 16-ounce containers of USDA organic strawberries, just $2.99 each with your card. QFC, love fresh, love local, love delivery. Restrictions apply. High five. Up top. Heck yeah. Dave's company just got the first ever 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business.
Yeah, 5 years.
That's 5 years of gig speed internet.
High five for Gixby.
5 years of advanced security.
Security win.
And 5 years of a great rate that won't change.
Our rate ain't changing.
All from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
There it is.
He hasn't given this many high fives since Deborah brought in her famous banana bread. Now he's got savings.
I'm so excited.
Yep, Dave's feeling it. But it's only for a limited time, so don't wait. Switch today and ask how to get the first ever 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business. Powering 5 years of savings. Powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
And it's hurting, but I am not stopping.
Ends 8/21/24. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge for new customers on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
When it comes to weekend gusto, we don't cut corners. But we may punch a square from time to time. You're listening to the Weekend Rock, 99.9 KISW.
like strawberries on a summer evening, and it sounds sex. I like you, I do. I wanna be finger shopping in a Benz. I like you, I do. I hit you in a leg, can you fit me in your plans? I like you, I do. Friends, you make the picture plans. I like you, I do. Girl, we always like fancy kiss. Let's make tonight the weekend. I don't wanna wait. I don't wanna wait. I don't wanna wait. I don't wait. Feel by the wayside, like everyone did. Just can't wait.
Extend my hiking trips to 2, 3, 4 days out in the forest. But leading up to my treatment, I'm all of a sudden not able to do that because there's no way I'm going to be able to carry the weight of my tent home on my body and food, to get myself out to the forest for that long. But a year after my treatment started, I felt so great that I was able to do that. So it's really been life changing. My husband will tell you that he's gotten his wife back because, again, the pain was so great. Like you just shut down. People with chronic pain know that. You just do what you can do to get through your day, through work. And then I would come home and I would lay down and I would ice or heat and just start the day over the next day. We were even looking into disability for me, and I love what I do for a living. It is such a blast. So I can also say I got my career back as well. I work in arts and culture, and it's a really rewarding career. And so that's part of my daily activity too, is I'm comfortable in a work environment. I have a lot of ergonomic tools, as well as everybody should. But even with those tools prior to the Yardley Hall Institute, I was very uncomfortable in any work environment. It just
Your story is amazing. Paul, anything to add? We just love seeing Kathleen. Like she said, she brings such an energy to our office every time she comes in. Even if she's out of adjustment when she comes in, by the time she leaves, she's back to her old self. Kathleen, thank you so much for sharing your story with the listeners. And I think it's nothing short of inspiring.
Well, thank you. I talk about your all the time, and I think I'm anywhere in our body. It's an incredible place. It's a wonderful place of healing.
That is an amazing story. Now, if you're in pain, why not find out if Dr. Hall of the Yardley Hall Institute can help you get healthy again? And you don't want to put this off because it's not going to get any better by ignoring the pain. Now, if you call right now during the show, we have a very special offer for you, too. For just a $38 prepayment with your credit card,
you will receive a consultation with Dr. Hall that includes all the gentle, non-invasive tests to find out if you're a candidate for care at the Yardley Hall Institute. And why do you do that, Dr. Hall? Because if you're not a candidate of care, we're not going to accept you as a patient. We want to make sure if we accept you, you get the results. $30 consultation fee. It's a great offer because normally it's $148. But you got to call right now during the show to get the special offer. Now, 866-704-1047. That's 866-704-1047. And you can learn more and book your appointment now at yardleyhallinstitute.org. You can also hear from over 100 patients and hear the successes they've had with Dr. Hall. Institute, the podcast of Restoring Health, Improving Lives Naturally. Now you can download and subscribe at yardleyhallinstitute.org. You can hear over 100 patients discuss all kinds of health issues the Yardley Hall Institute has helped them with. Sciatica, fibromyalgia, migraines, headaches, vertigo, neuropathy, acid reflux. It is amazing what the body can do when it's in position to heal itself. 85 miles an hour in the U.S. are now restricted to waistline